Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy spring! If you guys are in the Northern Hemisphere, like me, it feels like officially spring now. April's always dicey, but we are firmly in May now, so yay, springtime weather. Today, this is gonna be a bit of a mix of things. I have some updates on whips, no finished objects, because remember last time I filmed, I had a couple finished objects, and I did warn you that you were going to be looking at my whips for a while. So get ready for that. But at the end of the video, I also want to talk a little bit about how I've been feeling about my knitting lately. Namely that I feel like I'm in a bit of a slump. So I want to talk about it. I think it is something that probably, I don't want to presume, but I think every creator goes through at some point, and probably every knitter goes through at some point as well. So I want to talk about it and get your thoughts and see what you guys think and how you kind of pull yourselves out of phases like that. But before we get into all that, we're going to do the whips. So if that's what you came here for, that's the first section of the video. So stay tuned for that. And, if you want to stick around and hear my musings about my, knitting philosophies and lack of energy and so on, please stay tuned. Okay, so I know I said I've been in a knitting slump, but actually I have gotten surprisingly still quite a bit done. I think when I say slump, I mean, my energy is just a little lower than I would say it's typically been. So let's start with whips. Here we go. Number one, this is my Poppy Tee by Petite Knit. It's coming along, guys. We're getting there. This is, I probably have, I want to say a couple inches left on the body. And then I will do the collar first and then finish off the sleeves here. I am knitting this out of a fabulous yarn. I think the suggested yarn for this is the Cardiff Cashmere. I don't have access to that at my local yarn store, but they do stock this other cashmere. Which, pick that up for you. So this will probably not focus, but let's see. Let's see. Oh, I'm using my new camera, by the way. So, let me know how this feels and looks. Okay, this is completely falling apart, but here. So this is Illimani, just their cashmere. It's 100% cashmere, a sport weight yarn. I think designed to be very similar to Cardiff Cashmere, but haven't felt the Cardiff one. This is, it's so soft. And look at this color. This is, I'm looking at the viewfinder, pretty true to life. Like it's like a glowing blue toned red. Fun fact about blue toned reds, a friend of mine who's really into makeup told me this. Blue toned reds make your teeth look whiter. So I always call this like the classic red lipstick color. So I love it. Yeah, and it's knitting up beautifully. It's a dream to work with. I am a little off gauge on this guy. So I think I am knitting a size larger than I normally would. I'm knitting the XL, I believe, in this one. Normally I'd probably be like a large in her tops, but yeah, this is the XL. And, classic petite knit. There's nothing here that is too terribly controversial, I don't think. You've got the set-in sleeves here, which I love. I've done her Eva cardigan, which also has that construction. This is my first top shirt, I guess, of hers that would have this same construction, but I really like the way it looks. I think it frames the shoulders quite beautifully, and it's kind of hard to tell on a screen, but I am quite tall. I'm 5'8". I have pretty broad shoulders, I think, for a woman, and also sort of a long torso. So I'm kind of mostly hourglass shaped, I guess. But I think this set-in sleeve in particular looks great on quite broad shoulders because it sort of frames the top of your body really nicely without like hanging off you like a sack. So I'm a big fan of this contiguous construction, and it just kind of knits up nicely too. You kind of get the scale of it quite quickly. So yeah, this is mostly knit in the round, which is a nice, easy project for travel, which I've been doing a lot of lately. I think you guys remember I was in Europe visiting family, which I didn't actually bring this with me, but I've brought this on a couple of work trips for long plane rides and kind of hours before bed and so on. So a really nice one to bring with me, and it's not too bulky and big, but yeah, this should be done. Hopefully soon. It's a lovely piece, and I'm really excited to wear it. I think controversially, I would probably still wear this in the summer inside because you know, it's air conditioned in my office, and especially my office in New York City is always like a meat locker. I mean, it's so cold. So, so I do actually wear cashmere even in the summer months. And I'll have, you know, like a throw or something at my office usually if I get cold, which happens frequently. So that's this one. Lovely, lovely little piece. I think this is, yeah, it's going to be a favorite. I would totally see myself remaking this pattern. I think it's lovely. So I'm very happy with this. Okay, we are sticking to reds. This is much more of an orange red, which actually I'll show them. I'll show them both, and you can kind of you can see what I mean by blue toned and more yellow toned. So you see the difference here, how much cooler this looks versus this. So I love all reds. I am not a red discriminator. I think red is just a wonderful color, and to me feels almost like a neutral in that I think it looks good on everybody. But anyway, this is my favorite things knitwear cardigan number 9. Just gonna make sure I don't lose my stitches here. Okay, where am I on this? I am through one sleeve. This is done. And okay, I have the second sleeve on the needles here. Okay, I actually put this on a hanger just to hopefully make it a little easier for you guys to see, but there's a lot of loose ends on this, so I'm being a little bit careful. Yeah, so story on this one. I am knitting this out of Pearl Soho Plenty. The color is Bright Tomato, aptly named, which is a yarn that stretches vertically a lot. So when I got, I mean, honestly, not that far into the body, I actually blocked this once already. So the back of this here, this has been blocked. And I think it requires a couple of inches of ribbing at the bottom. So I think for the body, I'm basically done. Yeah, I don't, if you look at the pictures of this, it's kind of more of a cropped style. I don't want this to be too long. So I do want it to really look like a jacket. And the sleeve, likewise, I mean, this looks short, right? But just for reference, this back portion was meant to be about, I think if I remember right, like 50 centimeters, I think. I got to about 45, maybe a little under that, and I thought, okay, let me just block this and see what happens. This grew a full 5 centimeters, so more than 2 inches, maybe a little more than 5 centimeters actually. So it really grows vertically. So yeah, I think the sleeve, likewise, I mean, this comes to like above my wrist now. I think once this is blocked, it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna be, it's gonna be a lot longer. So all good, you know, I'm totally fine with that. I think it'll block out to the right length. I'm starting the second sleeve now. Again, different construction to the last one. This is a saddle shoulder, so a little hard to see, but you can see the rectangles right here. That's the, there's 2 on each side. You knit those and kind of start working around the rectangles. And it's a great pattern. It's a really great pattern. I haven't knit something by her actually in a minute. I was trying to think what the last, my favorite things knitwear pattern was that I knit, and I honestly can't remember. But yeah, she's another prolific knitwear designer. Slightly different style to Petite knit, I would say, but I love it all the same. I think this is going to be a really fun garment when the weather gets cooler again. But yeah, I like this a lot. The sleeves went by real quick. Yeah, I still have a bunch of ribbing to do down here. And then obviously we're going to get that really cool button band on the front here with, I don't know what you call them, those sort of wooden like peg-like buttons. So I need to go buy a couple of those. And then this guy will be done. Yeah, so exciting. You know, it is, I will say, Pearl Soho Plenty. It's marketed as a worsted weight yarn. It really isn't, in my opinion. I've knit a couple things with it. To me, it knits up more like an Aran, which is exactly how I've used it here. And it is quite a heavy yarn. It's 100% merino, but it's not a light, fluffy kind of yarn. So just be aware of that. You know, in the pictures, I think maybe it looks a little lighter than it actually is. Like this feels like a pretty hefty item already, which I'm fine with. You know, it's going to be more of like a true winter wear type of garment for me. But just think about that before you start doing, you know, a big project in this yarn. I really love it. I think it's a beautiful yarn, and it's extremely soft. And I'm a big fan. I've knit 2 things out of it so far. So I like it a lot, but just be wary, if you're kind of sensitive to the weight of a garment, this might not necessarily be the best fit for you. Complete contrast to that last project. This is a feather light project. I mean, so beautifully light. This is the Terracotta Sweater by Lee Knit or Lena Holmes Samso. I am knitting this out of lamb's wool, which is my first time actually using that. I'll show you the label so you guys can see. I'm probably mispronouncing this. It's called D. Gilpin Lalan DK, and I am using the colors, which I always forget. What is this? Okay, Crowdy and Driftwood. So you guys see those there. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. My goal with this sweater was, because it is kind of a bold design, I wanted to go a little more neutral on the colors. My hope being that with a more neutral color scheme, I'll be able to wear this over and over and over again and really just kind of have it, be a staple piece. And I think it absolutely will be. This is such a fun project. And one of my first, true color work projects, I think. All stranded color work. None of this is too complicated. Luckily, I haven't had any issues with tension here, which is good. What I am having an issue with is I'm basically at the end of the chart now. So I'll roll this down a little bit. Oh, actually, no, not yet. I have a repeat here, which is like a, I forget which one this is. Kind of more like the star one, I think. And that's kind of the end of the chart. And I don't know if you could, you can see it on, like, this is not long enough. So I need to think about what I'm going to do next. I might just kind of repeat one of these, the textured white patterns, and then do one more repeat maybe of this, because I really like this. This is definitely a very terracotta vibe. I might do that and then see where we're at, but I guess I must have really miscalculated my my row gauge, but I'm like spot on for stitch gauge. So that's kind of odd that I would be that far off. So I don't know. I might this might merit a mid-project block as well, and just see how much this all stretches down. And then I have ribbing, I think, as well. So it might be okay, but so far it's going to be very cropped if I do it to the design that she's suggesting, and I don't think that's the intention. So yeah, I might need to just add a little bit to this pattern unexpectedly. So I hope I have enough yarn. I definitely have enough of the contrast color. It's the white that I'm worried about. So let's see. But yes, love this project. This is a classic drop shoulder construction. Nothing too terribly complicated there. And then you pick up sleeves, later on, collar, all that good business. But I've just been enjoying the color work and the texture so much. I haven't even really thought about moving on to other things. So I love this. I love this. And I think because I love this so much and because I love this yarn so much, I actually want to do the porcelain sweater in the same yarn as well. So yeah, big fan of the lamb's wool. It's so fluffy and light. I'd be jumping the gun here because I haven't worn this yet and I haven't washed it multiple times, but this might be my new favorite DK weight yarn. Controversial, I know. And it doesn't look, when you kind of see it, here, let me show. You might not be able to see it in the ball very well. Like, it doesn't look like that DK when it's in the ball. I was a little concerned, but the lady at the yarn store was very helpful and said, listen, it does pretty much block out to be a DK, and my swatch, 100%, yes, it does. It blooms beautifully, it fluffs in, but not in a dense kind of way. So I think it's stunning. It's so soft, because people were telling me, oh, if you're doing color work, those toothier, like my comment on my unpopular knitting opinion video, rustic yarns are good because they have that toothiness. I don't really want a rough yarn, especially for this. So I thought this could be a good alternative because it does have that no, I don't want to say stickiness. It's not sticky, but it's not that merino smoothness, but it's very, very, very soft. So if you can get this yarn, highly recommend. I think it's stunning. So I'll give an update once I've actually worn this, obviously, probably towards the end of the year. But so far, love. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So that's this guy. And actually, I didn't show the back. So there you go. That's the back. Love it. Obsessed. I want to knit more with this yarn. I want to knit more by Lee Knit. I want her to do more color work patterns because, yeah, I love her and I love her designs. Last but not least, so this is a new cast on, which was sort of ambitious of me, and I'm going to explain why. So firstly, okay, it's very, very small. I'll put up a picture of what this would eventually look like if I do complete the project, and again, I say if. This is the Nia Sweater by Irene Lynn. So this is the back portion, basically. A lot of aggressive increasing. And it is a pretty involved lace pattern. I have a ton of these. This is the knitting yarn by Pearl Soho. This is, oh God, I forget which color, the light blue color. I've lost all the labels for all of these. So yeah, but they still have it online. Just look up the light blue color. Now, I have a ton of these, so I thought, okay, I have probably 2 sweater quantities of this yarn. So what can I make out of it? And I've wanted to knit something by Irene Lynn for a while. So I thought, oh, this could be a nice, again, this could be a nice travel kind of garment or something for those in-between seasons because it is quite open, but it does require a DK weight gauge. So I thought, perfect. And it was very fun. It's been very fun. I had to restart it once already. And I think I'm going to have to restart again because I have messed up something on the on these repeats. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I have a different number of repeats here than I do on this side, and I have no idea why. Because I'm pretty sure I was following the charts. Like I follow line by line and I cross them out. So I don't know what went wrong. But yeah, you can see, I just stopped mid-row when I realized because I just got so frustrated with it. And I was like, oh, I don't want to like tank this back and try and figure it out right now. So I was like, okay, just gonna put it down and like figure it out another day. And lo and behold, another day has not yet come. So we're gonna see what happens with this. If I have a burst of inspiration, I may frog it again, start over and start again. But I want to segue now into my talking about my little slump because I think this is very emblematic of it. When you have those periods of just like amazing inspiration in your craft, whether it's knitting or something else, and you just want to create and create, and then a little speed bump like this it's no big deal, right? You're like, okay, well, I'll like rip it back. Maybe it's an hour of work to kind of get back to this again. No biggie. I am in sort of the opposite phase of that, where if it feels like too much hard mental work, I just can't face it. And it's weird. I've had this once before, but it was because I was pregnant. So when I was pregnant with my second son, especially first trimester, I could not handle kind of looking at something for a long time. And it made me feel just nauseated. So I had a big gap in my knitting of about probably 3 months, close to 3 months. I was also exhausted. So there's that. But this is the first time it's really happened to me kind of outside of, like special situation pregnancy. So it's been interesting. It's been interesting to kind of contemplate. And like I said, I'm still making things. I'm still kind of progressing on the projects that I just showed you. It's just that the energy behind it, the mojo feels a little more muted, a little different. And normally I'd be all over new cast-ons and kind of thinking about new projects. And that energy has dimmed a little bit too. I'm still seeing some things that really inspire me, but not as much as before, So I'm taking it easy. I'd be really curious to hear from you guys what you do when you get into these, because I'm sure it's very normal. I'm a relatively new knitter. I've only been doing this, I don't know, garments like 2 years and change. Before that I was doing big kind of blanket projects and stuff. And for those, definitely I got bored and, would take a back seat a little bit. But yeah, garments, it's only been a couple years. So this is a little newer to me. And I guess the approach I'm taking to it now is just to ride whatever wave this is and see what happens in, a month, in another 2 months. And hopefully I'll be feeling a little different. I think part of it is it's also been an extremely busy 6 weeks. So we traveled to Europe. Work has been crazy. I've been on the road for work as well. The kids have had all kinds of things going on. My older one is starting kindergarten, so that's a big transition, and we're kind of preparing for that and getting to know people at his school. So it's just a lot. It's been it's been busy. And I think, yeah, maybe my creative energy is just a little low because frankly, I don't have the mental brain power to dedicate to it the way I would normally. So hopefully this is just a phase. You know, I really want to get back into that energy of, oh God, I can't wait to cast something new on. I'm just not feeling that at the moment. So, you know, this little guy might take a backseat for a while, and I might just rip it out and start all over again when I'm feeling a little more inspired. And in the meantime, maybe I'll just think about some smaller projects that feel like easy wins. So I've been wanting to do knit mittens for a while. I really enjoyed knitting those couple of hats that I made in, or that I showcased, I guess, in my last video. So maybe I'll do some more accessories with yarn from my stash and kind of keep the juices flowing that way. But yeah, I'm in a weird space right now, and I'm sure you guys have been there. So tips, tricks, patterns that reignited your passion, please let me know. I'm genuinely curious because you know, I don't want this to go on for forever because I do want to get that like fire back, you know, the fire in your belly for knitting. And I'm sure it's natural, so I feel okay about it. But yeah, suggestions, please let me know. I'm very curious, especially the more seasoned knitters out there. What have you done when you're in a slump? Please put a comment below. That's it today, guys. Short one, you know, I'll keep going on all of these whips. I genuinely enjoy working on all of these, so I wouldn't be surprised if one or more of them are completed by the next video. And I also have some pattern roundups coming for you guys, so stay tuned for a couple of those. I might also do a stash video. Is that something people are interested in? I don't have the most enormous stash, but I am quite interested in the idea of crowdsourcing ideas for what to do with some kind of slightly random yarns that I have in my collection that are in like almost sweater quantities, so you know, substantial amounts that I just haven't found a good use for. So maybe a stash video is a good idea too. I might do one of those. But anyway, there's more stuff coming. Just my pace on new finished objects might be a little slower because of the space I'm in right now. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in as always. Just so delighted that you're here and you're watching me. If you have a comment, please leave it down below, subscribe, you know, hit the notification bell, and I will catch all of you next time. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.